when the draw was first announced for the quarter-final of the Europa League that West Ham are going to be facing Bundesliga league leaders Bayer Leverkusen, I think the general reaction, understandably, was, oh, no, don't want them. Didn't want Liverpool, didn't really want them, or AC Milan. There were sort of three I wanted to try and avoid. So to get a Bayer Leverkusen, I think, was naturally you're going to be a bit concerned, naturally a bit of a blow, and you think, oh, God, it's a bit of a nightmare. However, actually, I'll tell you what, before I go into this, I just want to say we're giving away a West Ham top. We give it away a West Ham top for the whole season, every month. If you're not a subscriber, all you need to do to enter is be a subscriber. So click the subscribe button. It does mean a lot. Helps the channel out as well, of course. So it's just a little reminder for you there. The more I've thought about this, though, and the more I've now sat back and considered it, do you know what? I don't think it's actually as bad a draw as it first maybe seems. Look, I'm not trying to suggest that it's going to be a walk in the park. It's certainly not going to be that. It's going to be very, very tough. You know, Xabi Alonso's done an incredible job at Bayer Leverkusen. I mean, they're flying in the Bundesliga, which is incredible. And considering the fact, I think it's 11 years, isn't it, on the spin that Bayern Munich have won that league title. Harry Kane, of course, going over there, which makes it a little bit amusing. So to see them doing so well is great. And you look at their record and how well they've been playing. I think it's something like 37 games without defeat or something ridiculous. It's absolutely incredible. Their run at the moment is amazing. So I'm not trying to in any way dress up the fact that they're not a great side. They are really, really good, and it's a tough draw. However, I do think there's positives to this as well. I really firmly believe this, okay? And I'll go through the reasons why. First of all, the first positive is, like I've said, is the Bundesliga title situation. That is their prime target this season. It can't not be. To take a league title off your rivals, off a side that's won it 11 years on the spin, and you're now within grasp of achieving, taking that away from them and winning the league title. That's got to be their main focus, and I completely understand it. If it was us doing that, of course it would be. You'd be thinking, well, we've just got to win this league title, because bear in mind, they win the league title. I mean, they're going to get it anyway, regardless. They get the Champions League as well. It's absolutely 100% their one focus. So I think that's a positive for West Ham. That's something that we can take from it and think they're probably not going to be treating this with the absolute utmost importance. It's not their season. All I'm saying isn't clinging on beating West Ham. That's not their season. Their season is winning this title. That's what they're going for. It's their number one target and choice. Of course, they want to beat West Ham. Of course, they want to win the Europa League. But as I've said, it's probably number 2 on their list. Number 1 is the league title. So I think that's a positive for West Ham. I think the other positive we need to bear in mind for West Ham in this is they've not blown teams away to get here. In fact, they've struggled. They've stumbled to get here. And I think that's a positive. They've not been walking through teams. They certainly didn't stroll into the quarter-final, which I think is another thing that West Ham can draw a bit of confidence from and think, well, these teams are beatable. If they were smashing teams to pieces to get here, you'd be thinking, oh my God, they're actually hammering teams every week. But then they haven't been doing that. And that also feeds into my first point. I still think that that's possibly why. Because they're looking at the league position. They're looking at their league fixtures. That's their prime focus. So I genuinely look at that. I was just like, when I've watched them play in the Europa League, I've not been blown away. I've not looked at them and thought, oh my good God, they're amazing. I mean, great side. I'm not knocking them, but I think we can cause them problems. The other thing we could possibly look at is the fact that we lost to them in pre-season. We lost them 4-0. Now, you might say, well, that's not a good thing. Maybe not, but maybe also they might underestimate West Ham a little bit. And I'm not talking necessarily about the manager. I imagine Xabi Alonso is very aware. He's not stupid and will get his team set up properly, etc., etc. He's not going to be saying to them, oh, this will be a breeze. But I'm thinking maybe the players. Just a little bit of a hint of, we'll beat these. We'll beat West Ham. We walk for them in pre-season. Is there an air of confidence about them that's going to be on borderline cocky, going into it thinking, well, it's just we should comfortably beat West Ham? That could well play into West Ham's hands. We're going into it as the underdog. going into it as a team they may just think they'd be quite easy. The other big positive, of course, is that the second leg, the deciding leg, is at the London Stadium under the floodlights. We've just experienced that against Freiburg. The atmosphere, the intensity of West Ham. And can you imagine the noise against Leverkusen, especially if we go into it with a decent scoreline? It would be electric in there. I think that's a big positive to draw from. I think that's something to sort of think, do you know what? That's not bad. If West Ham can go to Leverkusen and not get hammered, which I doubt West Ham would. I doubt it. Especially when you consider us in Europe, West Ham. You can start to think, well, do you know what? Bring them to our place and we can do them. We can beat anyone on our day at our place. When we're at it, we can beat anyone. We've got enough good players in our team to do damage to any side in this league. In league and across Europe, we know we can. Don't get me wrong, I'm not suggesting that we're going to, but I'm just saying on our night we can. Look what we just did to Freiburg. Let's not forget Freiburg are a decent side in the Bundesliga. They're not crap. They're not a team that's fighting relegation. They're a team that's fighting to be in Europe again. And we just literally destroyed them, walked through them. I understand Leverkusen are a tougher opposition than Freiburg. There's no denying that. But what my point is that if we can walk through a team like Freiburg like that, why can't we go and beat Leverkusen over 2 legs? As I've said, especially with the second leg and the deciding leg being on our own turf, being in East London. And so these were my thoughts, okay? And I'm sort of drawing that and thinking, do you know what? I'm starting to believe a little bit. I'm really starting to believe. I'm believing that David Moyes is capable of overturning. I think he's capable of beating Leverkusen. I really do. Not saying we will. Not saying we definitely will. But I think we can go into this with belief. I really do. I don't think we should be believing that we have a belief we can't win this game. I truly believe we can. David Moyes, time and time again, has proven to be very astute in Europe. We've been here before. We've been in these situations before. We've been to Lyon, Seville. You know what I mean? And we've look how well we've done. And then the West Ham Way's very own Dan Woffenden, who's such a talent when it comes to sort of dissecting teams and the way they set up playing and all this kind of stuff, doing these analyses ahead of games, etc., etc. He's very, very talented at that. And he has then given me more belief because this is what he had to say on social media. He said, West Ham are more than capable of actually beating Bayer Leverkusen. Karabakh nearly knocked them out. And let's bear in mind, they've got one eye now on the Bundesliga title, like I've been saying. Their style of play suits us also down to the ground. He went on a bit more to explain about that. He said, with a defending a low block, if we're compact and defend in our box well and attack them with fluidity like we did last night, and then we can really beat them. And he's actually said, this is Dan, and Dan's very, very spot on with it, what he has to say about certain things. He said, I'm very confident over the 2 legs we can beat this side. I'm starting to really believe that actually it's not the draw of doom that people, or possibly the media, are sort of suggesting, oh my God, they've got Leverkusen, what a nightmare, the team that can't be beaten. West Ham, well, that could be them gone. I mean, when I was, the draw was made, I was surrounded by other football fans at the time. And they were saying, oh, that's a nightmare for you. Oh, not West Ham, horrendous. But the more I've thought about it, the more I've given it some serious thought, and you're looking at reading Dan's comments, you dissect it, and you are thinking about it, and look at their form and look at how well they've been playing in Europe, etc. You start to believe, you start thinking, do you know what? We could do this, you know. And do you know what? If David Moyes gets it right, which let's be honest, over time and time again, he has done, especially in Europe, then there's no reason why West Ham will not be in the semi-finals of the Europa League.